All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Card Talk. I'm Ryan, joined as always by Tyler and Lou. Big episode today, but not a lot's happened in the hobby lately. Fanatics and Panini sued each other. Gen Con and Lorcana was crazy. A Cardi B mic that she threw sold for $99,000. A Wemby 101 Superfractor was pulled and is probably worth six figures, but light week in the hobby. So we'll get into all that here shortly. But first, we'll start with the usual. What's on your mind? Ty, back from London. Said he
Hello,
wasn't
mate.
going to go 40%, turn into
Hello.
99 overnight. He's got a little bit of an accent. Ty, we'll start with you. What's on your mind?
Cheers, mate. It's a good intro. Yes, it was 8%. I believe it was 8% this time last week that I deemed the likelihood to end up in London visiting our boy Harry and the crew over there. But Ripsy and I decided we're going to give it a go. We popped on the flight and touched down over there. And to that note, did you know that on this day in 1969, August 8th, was the
We went
day
to the moon.
of the famous Beatles
Oh,
photo of them crossing Abbey Road?
really? Huh.
You know, just I spent a little couple days with Ripsy. He's all Mr. Historical Collector, and pretty iconic image, pretty iconic photo, pretty iconic band, and just a little tie into the London trip. So yes, I've spent
When did we go to
10
the
of the
moon?
last 14 days either on the road or at a card show. It was a great show. Bigger.
Tyler
last-
Schmidt, known card collector.
Mm-hmm.
Also
The
picked up
backbone
some
of
nice,
Card Talk.
some nice first edition Pokemon. I had to pay in quid. Probably lost out a little bit on the
That is
the-
tough. I don't think people in the U.S. kind of understand how tough that is.
Yeah.
Going over there, like buying
It's a
it,
whole new factor,
something
bro.
you're not used to, sending PayPal and just getting hammered with fees.
It's a
Hammered.
whole
Like,
new.
I'm somehow losing a lot more in this deal than I originally anticipated. When you go and be like, dang, I'm in this card awfully steep. Yeah,
Exactly.
rough.
So yes, I definitely had to recalibrate to that. But a lot of footy, a lot of Pokemon, a lot of actually kind of like these older cigarette UK exclusives, a lot of old school vendors. It was a fun show, bigger than when we were there last ride. Same venue, same place you drive into, but instead of being down on the low side in that kind of low ceilinged room, they're up in the main room now, where I believe there was like a honeybee convention going on last time or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was what got the old fire alarm pulled.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there was a fire alarm, Lou. Had to evacuate, had to get the old
Yeah, you
London.
didn't tell me that there was a beekeepers convention at the card show.
Well, I didn't know what it
There
was.
was
There was just a
last time, not
fire.
this time. They kicked
How
him
did that
out
not
this
come
time.
up last time?
I didn't know about it. I just knew there was a fire alarm. So we
I
had to
think
stand outside for over an hour.
Some good local honey.
Yo, wait, real quick. So you're telling me that they did Abbey Road like 2 weeks after the moon landing?
Is that true?
July 20th is the moon landing.
Of
And then you just
1969?
said August 8th is Abbey Road.
Sick, both in '69.
Within like 3 weeks of each other. That's weird.
Big year.
That's
Big
That's a
year.
huge month.
It's almost as big as. So, Pokemon, I did some nice historical.
Yeah, I was going to
looking
ask
up.
you about this because we skipped over it in the pre-show.
So, Harry Potter first book releases in the fall, late 97 in the
Okay.
US. Pokemon cartoon, trading card game, and video game all hit the market in between November 98 and February 99. In like a 15-month span, Harry Potter
Your
gets
entire
published.
life was put
Harry
together.
Potter gets published in the US, and Pokemon hits. And Pokemon hit video game, cartoon, trading card game within like a 4-month span.
They did
Boom.
it on purpose, right? They peppered it.
It was like kind of all these things kind of came together at once. It's funny now. It's like you come up with an idea, you can just go on Instagram and post it.
Yeah.
In 97, 98, like it's years. You're flying around trying to get people to put it on the TV channel. You're trying to, work with people to
Uh-huh.
get it into their hobby shop. Otherwise, there's no way for people to learn about stuff.
Do you have any info on like this is what's on your mind? We're like really gonna go deep here in the beginning of the show. But what is do you know what like the breakout in terms of how popular and how much money they were making in just Japan before they came to the US?
It was I don't know figures.
Was it like a
numbers.
gigantic
was
brand? They were like,
working.
we're going to the U.S., or was it like, hey, the plan is to go to the U.S. and then we're gonna blow up?
They were worried that it wouldn't work. In the US.
Really?
Yeah. There's 3
Interesting.
companies that ended up owning Pokemon. It's got Game Freak, Nintendo, and the guy
Mhm.
that did the art spun out, created his own company.
Mhm.
So there was like 3 people that were owning it. They went and worked with the best people for the cartoon, again, Japanese trading card game, and the video game. It was all started with the video game, and it all started
The
from
video game's what started it.
the Game Boy game, and it was the inspiration
Started it
was
in the U.S. You mean?
no, in Japan. Nintendo was was from over there. Game Boy was out. The Game Boy Link, that you could link from one Game Boy to another and swap data from cartridge to cartridge, was what inspired the initial dude to come up with the idea of Pokemon, because he was a insect collector. And when he saw that, he was like, "Oh, I think we can make a collecting type of game."
And that's
Because
why he has that little
one
booklet.
person on one Game Boy can now have match another collection, and they can do trades. That inspired the whole thing. Also, another
Wow.
fun fact was it was initially called Capsule Monsters,
I knew that. That I knew.
and they couldn't get the copyright on or the trademark on Capsule Monsters. So,
So
it
then
would've
they
been
went with Pocket
Capsule Mon.
Monsters.
Yep. So they went with Pocket Monsters. Then the dude that brought it over to the States, I think, was one of the ones that really pushed Pokemon and added the accent.
Kind of like as a abbreviation of the two combined.
And you're correct. And that dude cleaned up.
This is just a fun fact. I know this is Card Talk for every listener here. If you're new, this is how we do things around here. We start with one thing and we end up like, it's like on YouTube. You start with a video and you're like 6 videos in and you're watching like, rabbits in their natural habitat. And you're like, wow, this is weird. I didn't know how I got
Oh,
here.
I'm getting real deep with this on something random. We'll talk about it later.
Literally perfect. Thank you, Lou. I was looking at some of the Pokemon boxes and I think it was Blowout had them at the National, like sealed original boosters. I don't know if there's anything in like, there's a couple things. The Harry Potter triple is pretty high on my list, probably the card, but like an OG Pokemon booster, like that to me, I'm not a Pokemon guy now. I'm very open about that, but there's not much. That was the first packs I ever ripped in my entire life was Pokemon.
Same.
Like it wasn't football, it wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh, it wasn't anything else. It was Pokemon. To be able to rip those packs years later or have at least a booster, I know they're 6 or 5 figures. They're insanely expensive. I saw some of them there. I want one of those pretty bad. Like
So sweet.
a base set pack, like a base set box, a jungle box, Team Rocket box. Like I have a couple Team Rocket packs from back in the day that walked into the shop many years ago. But a OG sealed box, like I want one of those pretty bad. I definitely will
What
buy
are
one of
boxes
those.
doing these days?
There's a video
know?
somebody put up. I could try to find it. It might have been Don Diego, it might have been somebody else. Somebody put up a video and showed some of the boxes that they had at their booth. A lot. I mean, all 5 figures.
My
couple
that I
stick
want
figures.
off the Pokemon Harry Potter thing is the first edition Harry Potter book.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You
I
need
would
that.
just love to own that. That would be
That's what
super
you
sweet.
want?
Yeah, first edition book. They do. I mean, based on the condition, they do just over 6 figures. Which, again, I don't know.
Long way
I
to
gotta
go.
I gotta keep trading. Gotta keep grinding.
Yeah,
gotta
I want
catch 'em
that.
all.
Straight
I
up
want that-
challenge.
Yeah.
The Harry Potter triple, the box of Pokemon, an entire base set. I don't want first edition. I don't want to spend $250,000, $500,000,
Yeah.
on an entire set like that. I would just be okay with the first edition,
Yeah.
or just like a
base set graded.
But like those are the kind of things like that is my first entry point to cards. Man, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But
And so back to London, there was a ton of Pokemon. A crazy. I was like, wow.
that is one thing I remember Ty from
Japanese.
us was like Pokemon
Yeah.
and soccer. Ty.
It was Pokemon and footy. And speaking of that, footy, Community Shield was this past Sunday. Arsenal's been spending money. I mean, the summer series of Premier League here in the States was epic. I don't think we felt any impact from the Women's World Cup in terms of the hobby. Aussie
None.
is just tough. Like there was one, the U.S. played 2 games, their first 2 group stage games, I think at 9 and 10 p.m. Eastern. That was all that was really brought to the table. And then they kind of crashed and burned out.
It didn't help
now you
they
got-
sucked.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, but even so, if those games were at 7:30
Oh, it would have been huge.
Eastern bars would have been lit for sure. So
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
Prem starts on Friday, and I'm excited. I am ending my What's on Your Mind with I'm definitely feeling the lack of sports of late. And I know there's baseball.
On your
and
TV,
I know there's baseball.
in
And I
your
know
life.
there's baseball. But there's a lot. I'm literally watching replays of random friendly matches with like third stringers coming on. And I just need it. And I'm really
respect that.
excited for football to come back.
I tried to watch some pickle this weekend.
Mm.
Just
Couldn't
not
do
for
it?
me. Just can't
Yeah, I can't get into it.
get.
Well,
There was a,
for that,
of
let's
a
swing it
rally
over
for
to you.
like. There was a rally for like 45 seconds, and it was just like, what are we doing here? Anyway, what's on my mind? Two things. Number one, I went to a arcade this weekend, and the biggest like area of like tickets you could like give for something was for cards. So I stared at the card section for like 10 minutes trying to decide what to get. I spent, I don't know, way too much money at the arcade, and all I was able to get for my money was a blister pack, I guess like a fat pack of Bowman Baseball 2023. I don't even
Well, how
know
many tickets?
Oh, it was like 15,000 tickets. It was crazy. Yeah. But it was fun.
The dollar-to-dollar ratio on those is never possible.
Yeah, no, I'm not expecting to make, I wasn't expecting to make money, but it was just funny how many tickets I actually had to get. I want to say I spent like $70 on points on games that day. So that was fun. I had a good time there. And then the other thing was I just recently got this in the mail. I showed it on Instagram, but I'll show it here as well.
Nice.
1993 Topps Nicktoons. It has the Rugrat rookies in it, and it also has Doug. I don't know if you guys ever watched Doug back in the day. Doug's a great show. It also has Ren and Stimpy. Do you guys watch Ren and Stimpy?
I know Ren and Stimpy.
I didn't really
Ren and
watch
Stimpy
that.
was like a little like they're aged up.
Yeah, it was like supposed to be like a little bit like
Mm-hmm.
cooler or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It wasn't. Really my
Real
thing.
Monsters.
Real Monsters is not in here, but I used to love that show as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited.
Do you know
about
the
this.
Doug Funny the Beats Me episode?
No, what is that?
Beats Me was the band.
Beats Me.
All time
I don't
episode.
remember.
Beats
I think
Me was the famous band, and he had to do a call in to win tickets to the show to bring. What was her name? Was it Patty?
I think it was Patty.
That was his shorty, and he like got through on the line, and they asked him a question, like a trivia question, and he didn't know the answer.
He just froze up.
Or something. He didn't know the answer. He was freaking out, and he goes, "Beats Me," and the answer was "Beats Me."
The
And
band is called. This is very funny. I can't believe you remember
That was
this.
a single or something of theirs.
Bro, this episode came out September 8th, 1991.
Wow.
What a pull.
Ty pulling 32 years out.
32 years, 91.
That's 32 years now, huh? Damn.
Yeah. You just trying to come into your math, bro.
No, I didn't try to come at the math. I was like, holy it was coming together for me in the real time. Okay, so that's what's on my mind. I am deep. Something about going to a card show, guys. I don't know what it is. I think, Ty, you're feeling it too. You go to the show and it's just like it all comes flooding back in, and all you want to do is buy cards. Like I did a PSA submission. I'm prepping another PSA submission. I'm checking my PSA order every day.
That's great.
I got another package in the mail coming. I'll show it off next week what the card is. It's another random card like this. So I'm deep. I also need football to start. You're 100% right. I love watching baseball every night, but it's like I need action. So looking forward to that first weekend of college football gambling. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, what's on my mind? I've spent a lot of time lately diving into, who's going to be good in the Big Ten, who's going to be good in football this year, who's playing where. I've been looking at where the strengths are of Penn State and Michigan and Ohio State and weaknesses. Yeah, here we go. And I've just I've spent a lot of time on it. I'm ready. I cannot wait. Ohio State has a hard schedule this year. I'm ready. I cannot wait. I posted keep going. I just on a mission.
Dipped out. He might have a delivery of some kind.
Look at him. It just looks locked in. You good?
Super good. You just made me think of something, and I had to show it off.
All right. What is it?
Keep talking. I'll pull it up.
Okay.
Ty, he completely stopped when you walked away from the
I'm sorry.
It just threw me off. It just looked like his fire alarm. It was like
he froze. We just froze for 10 seconds. Keep going.
Sorry. You were talking about football. I got excited.
No, you're good. I posted
a topic in and of itself, by the way. I mean, we were going to be going out to Oregon. It's weird. I don't know what's going on.
I saw a video on TikTok the other day. It was like, who's the dude? Who's the guy that runs? Is it Chris Fowler that runs Game Day?
Yeah,
Chris Fowler.
he's one of
Yeah.
them. And Herb Street.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a big,
I knew
big
Herb
fan guy.
But Fowler, there's like a video on TikTok, and it's like Fowler open it up. It says like 10 a.m. fall vibes, and it's like on the banks of the Appalachian, and it's like
Mhm.
just got this like cool fall vibes, just college football on all day. I'm like, inject it into my veins.
Need it.
Just-
Yeah.
Need to smell the crisp
That's it.
air, a little bit of mildew in the grass.
I'm like, you can smell that. Like every single person listening right now knows that feeling is like, yeah, I'm ready.
It's the you get your coffee, you sit in front of your TV, you pop it on, and it's like there's Chris Fowler and that whole crew just yelling and screaming for like an hour. It's great.
Yep.
Remember the touchdown catch I made running across campus on the way to the Ohio State game?
Yes, we
People
do.
forget that was one of the most athletic things I've ever seen.
That's what I live for. This is what I interrupted your
Wow.
talk for. And I think I might have showed this last week, but I've always loved White Sparkle. It's one of my first White Sparkle pickups, obviously. Pristine.
So those that just saw, Tyler just had a black label Saquon Barkley White Sparkle from Prism Draft Picks, little Penn State alum,
it's clean.
like-
It's clean.
like- college football player. But yeah, I've just been spending a lot of time on football. We were talking about it beforehand, but I think the Jets Browns game was the most watched Hall of Fame game since 2018. It had more viewers than the Field of Dream game. It had more viewers than the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals, and there was something else. It was like 4 things. It has like 6.3 million. Like football moves the needle. I did a poll. Yeah, the MLS final. I did a poll on social the other day. I was like, I want to get a state of the hobby. Like, are people optimistic? Are you buying hobby boxes? Are you going to shows? Like, what market do you think will do well? And one of the questions was like, which market do you believe in the most for the next 12 months? It was football, basketball, baseball, other. And the majority by a landslide said football. And we've talked about this before on Car Talk. We've done this many years together. When we first started out, it was a lot more basketball. The bubble, COVID, Zion. There were a lot of things that favored basketball early on in our Car Talk time together. It is very clear right now that football is the dominant sport in trading cards. It is by a landslide, I believe. Basketball is great. Baseball is good. Ohtani really helps baseball for sure. Ohtani and Acuna are playing amazing. But to me, it's like, I saw it in the poll. We've seen it in the hobby. You guys have probably seen it too. There's plenty of other great sports. There's a lot of emerging, all of those things. Football is in a different world. The preseason game, Jets Browns preseason more than the entire NBA Finals. That's wild. I mean, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just wait the opening weekend of NFL football when you've got Thursday night games, you have college football games on, you have Monday night games. I mean, I know my guy Lou Janu, he's gonna be locked in for those 4 days, betting on Division III games.
Dialed.
Look
It's
at
such
him.
a
You
good
just
product.
know that
It's-
first weekend cannot wait.
I was talking about it last night. Sorry, Ty.
No, go.
No, I was talking about it last night. Just how excited I am for it, and it's just like it's crazy how I don't know how it is at your friend groups, but football literally brings my friends together, and
Yeah.
like it's all we talk about.
Fantasy.
100%.
I've been playing fantasy with the guys, same guys since freshman year of high school, legitimately, and like that's our relationship hinders on that. Basketball, they know it. Whether it was COVID and then the bubble, like there was just a watering down somewhere along there. I don't, to be frank, and it's crazy to say, maybe there's some fatigue in like just the LeBron domination of the game for so long. But they
it's
know
not
it
even that,
with
like-
the in-season tournament that they're doing. Like that's a big, big move for them to introduce that as a new product to keep people engaged and pay attention. Late fall, Vegas, it'll be popping. Summer League was a good thing for them. There's just like a lot.
Yeah, but you know what's
basketball
nice
that
about
gets
those
played.
and what the NFL has? This many games.
Yeah, correct. There's just a little bit more
There's
scarcity.
a scarcity factor to the NFL that the NBA, MLB, NHL cannot replicate. You play once a game, you're going to play once a week. There's games on 4 or 5 times. There's 18 games now.
And
Every game
game
matters.
has gravity.
Every game matters.
Yeah.
It does. Like Bills, Bengals, late in the season to determine home field. That game matters.
Yeah.
The Knicks, Nets.
There is no comparison in in any other sport
None.
than there is to Chiefs Bills on a random Thursday night. Nothing would compete with that.
a million percent. Couldn't agree more.
With that said, Rye, give me 1 or 2 guys that you've kept an eye on that you're excited for this year that aren't your classic, just like QBs.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, Garrett Wilson.
Think he can get up close to that
5.
Jamar Chase,
Yeah,
Justin Jefferson type of breakout that they kind of had?
Yeah, I mean, again, you guys know it. I mean, I live and breathe Ohio State. I've watched Garrett Wilson since he came in. The catch against Clemson as a freshman, I mean, my dude was 7 feet off the ground. He's as good as advertised. And look, he won Rookie of the Year with Mike White and Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
You're talking about a top 10 quarterback all time, talent wise, to give him later in his career, no doubt. But Aaron Rodgers is the real deal, even later in his career. And Garrett Wilson is as good as advertised. I just know that, and it pains me to say this because I hate the Jets. Like, I'm Big Daddy, GD Jets. Like, I hate them. I do not like the Jets. I grew up
Jets.
Yeah.
The goddamn Jets.
Yeah,
That's like all-time Big Daddy
I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
beat Jay from a beat.
Yeah.
But it's like Garrett Wilson's as good as advertised. He stays healthy. Rodgers stays healthy. Like that's one of the best combinations in the league for wide receiver QB combos. Like obviously Chase and Jefferson or Chase and Burrow, but like Aaron Rodgers is better than Kirk Cousins. Jefferson's the
It's
best
actually
receiver.
crazy when you watch and understand how good Aaron Rodgers is at throwing a football from anywhere. Like the way he can just put it on a dime and it looks like he's not even moving his body. He's kind of like Federer, like how Federer played tennis. It was just almost effortless. But then can you do me a favor, Rye, or Lou, whoever's maybe better educated? There's a ton of chatter around this Falcons running back. Is it Bijan Robinson?
Bijan?
Robinson was committed to Ohio State
Who
early.
is he? What's his deal?
Todd.
Why are people pumped about him? Give me a little.
Bijan Robinson.
He's that guy.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson, will be the highest paid running back in the league this year just because of where he was drafted. He is as good as advertised. He was the number 1 running back in America. He was originally committed to Ohio State, decommitted right before signing day, went to Texas, is electric, can run, can
You saw him last year at Texas, Ty.
Yeah, he's
a rookie.
Yeah,
Rookie.
He's probably, I don't know the betting odds. I have not looked one time. He's probably the
He's the
favorite to
runaway
win
rookie of the year.
Yeah, I mean, and that's hard with QBs because Bryce Young and Stroud will likely be starting by week 1 or 4 at the latest. Like those guys will play. Anthony Richardson will play. He's the favorite. Yeah, I mean, Ty, in most fantasy leagues, he's a first-round draft pick.
Certified top 5 pick in fantasy.
And is this pure just talent and prospecting? What about the Falcons is exciting about it? Like,
I mean, it's
He's a
no
running
different.
back.
Yeah, it's no different than Saquon getting drafted and going to the Giants. Like, there's nothing exciting about the Giants, but when you're that good, running backs don't get drafted that high anymore. Like, they don't. Like,
so they're going to get the ball in his hand.
He's really good.
And the Falcons are one of the heaviest running teams in the league, so he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. Yeah. Jay said he's
really
plus
cool.
300 to win Rookie of the Year. Bryce Young plus 420. Stroud and Richardson plus 900.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson plus 900 is kind of a sneaky pick.
And then the Falcons just have that really good blocking tight end, right?
Yeah, they don't use him like fantasy football, as the owner said or coach said. One of the two. Another 2 guys. Real quick.
Low key.
I got to give you some names. Sky Moore, Rashee Rice.
Sky Moore's your boy.
Sky Moore's my boy. I'm telling you, I was on that early, and I'm gonna stick with
Kansas City,
that.
right? Came out late.
Those are both Kansas City receivers. They don't have Juju there. Like Kelsey's obviously the clear number 1 target, right? Everybody knows that. It's best tight end in football. Rashee Rice and Sky Moore. Just look out. I mean, it helps when the best top 5 quarterback ever is throwing you the ball. Patrick Mahomes can make plays. Those guys are good. So Rashee Rice, Sky Moore, sneaky, cheap I like him at $15, $20 autos. Justin Ross is there as well. Was a stud at Clemson. Tore up Alabama as a freshman when Trevor Lawrence beat Alabama for a national title. Beat the brakes off of that Alabama team. Justin Ross had a crazy catch. Has battled some injury concerns, but like one of those guys for sure has a monster year. Mahomes has got to throw the ball to somebody. So I like the young wide receiver core in Kansas City.
Jalen Hyatt is another a little more off the radar. Good option. He's
Faster
very,
than
very
fast.
talented. Very talented wide receiver.
Love to
And
hear
plays
that.
for the Giants, so he had a chance to be like actually famous,
Mike Kafka.
Our boy.
Yes, coached by Mike.
You got one for the people?
I don't really. I mean, mine would have been G. Wills. No, the line. I mean, is it St. Brown?
Amon-Ra?
Yeah, like ton of lines chatter.
Too much.
Yeah, some might say too much.
They're playing the Chiefs week 1. That might be ugly.
Yeah.
I
In
want to
Kansas City.
say that like I have laid around and put thought towards like Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen just like completely going the other way and having an all-time historic season coming off the beef because they are that good and he is that good, specifically Diggs. And maybe there's a little bit like, okay, well, we're going to show you if they have really recovered and he is fully bought in. But then I think Saquon's going to have something to prove. I think Saquon, I think Say might actually really have his year. That matters.
I wonder what they're going to do with him because they have this 1-year deal. So like he's probably gone after this. It's a weird situation with him.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's going to make some noise in New York this year. I feel like he hasn't like really got it going. He's had the injuries. He's had everything. His name
Last year was
matters. But yeah, we'll see. Those are my
Last
thoughts.
year was pretty good.
All right, couple quick points we want to get to. I know we've spent a lot of time on what's in your mind and the NFL.
That was
Obviously,
good.
We're all very, very excited for that. A couple things. Did you guys see Gen Con was this weekend? I
been
heard
I saw
following
Plaza
the
out there
releases.
on like a scooter running around.
on a tear. So I had a buddy there that goes more for the board games and was talking. Said they were letting people line up for Lorcana product at 5 p.m. the night before. Had thousands of people in line. Ty, I know you followed it
Yeah.
more. I know Jay was involved early. Lou's made. I have not made any plays so far. But Lorcana does come out this week. Very soon. It comes out the 18th is when it releases. Just early on, looks like it's going to make some noise just based off of what we've seen in the original set sales that they released. What were those from, Ty? A convention?
Yeah,
Like
so
Disney?
they had D23. We've actually
That's what it
talked
was.
about it on this show where kind of all these companies now have their own version of like the Apple iPhone, launch. Everyone does their kind of own and operated. It used to be industry things, PAX this or the game announcements or CES or stuff like that. Apple kind of went and started doing their own Disney, their own D23. It's where they announced Lorcana that they're working on with Ravensburger, who, if you've ever done a classic puzzle around the holidays, Ravensburger probably made that.
Shout out.
Big game maker, puzzle maker. And so they released at D23 an initial promo set, 6 hollows, $30 for that pack of 6. And then they had one promo card that was free if you just waited online. That was the Mickey. So there's 7 cards that are stamped with a first edition stamp and a D23 logo. Then at Gen Con, just in the last week, they were releasing a couple different products. Starter decks, similar to Pokemon. Starter decks, which are the same for everyone. You buy the deck, you can play the game. Then you got boosters, which are meant to be randomized cards, all different power, all different rarities in packs that you can then add to your deck for gameplay. That's
what they had at Gen Con, right? The booster.
Yep. And if you understand Pokemon, that's how Pokemon was released too. You can buy a starter deck, you buy it, it has the same stock lineup in every single one of them. Fairly certain on that. If anything, slight difference, but same stock lineup. 3 different in Pokemon. I think it was the starters: grass, water, fire. In Lorcana, it's like Elsa, Hook, Cruella, I believe, maybe Maleficent. And then there's booster boxes. You can buy the boosters. So those all released. So now the prices to get your hands on that, because they're like 2 or 3 weeks early from hobby shops. So
Yep.
they're kind of early on. I don't
just bought a box.
believe they have what, booster or starter?
Booster.
What did it cost you?
Booster?
4?
No,
260.
260. Yeah.
Wow, I thought they were higher.
Oh, Ty, sneaky.
Ty's locked in, man. He's a card
Yeah,
guy.
260 seems like a play. I'm snagging.
They
I think
were
Tyler
Not
going
investment
for,
advice. Everyone do whatever you want to do.
they were going for 425, and the Mickeys, the first Mickey Gen Con promo, I think did 1200. They might be sniffing 100 now. I mean, there was
Yeah,
just
that-
endless amounts of them.
We know how that
Oh
goes.
wow.
We
Yo,
know how
Clyde
that
Edwards Helaire Donruss?
Yeah, correct. And this is the D23 first. See D23 Expo first edition. Then there was a different Mickey, like an Explorer or something for Gen Con that has a Gen Con stamp. So be careful for that. And now packs are being opened, singers are being sold on eBay. Again, to me, it all comes down to, is the gameplay actually play out? How invested are they? It seems like they are being very thoughtful. They've spent 4 years developing the game. The game matters. If they can get the game to be actually played, have community around that, then there should be collectability around the cards in a more advanced way than just, I like Cruella de Vil, and so I want this card. There's some cool, what they do is like the sets to 206 or to 204, meaning there's like 206 like official cards in the set, just like Pokemon. I think it's 152 or whatever. But then they have like the above and beyond, like over 206. I think it goes like 224, which are like full art. Pokemon's been doing that in like some of the evolutions, like the Charizard full art, the VMAXs. So there's a couple different that you'll see on eBay that are going for like $700, $800, which are like full art, legendary foils. I don't know the terminology yet, but you'll see some of that. But I would just advise everyone to be very careful on anything that isn't really the first edition D23s, because volume is going to continue to come into the market at an immense pace, and you're probably going to still see some leveling out, specifically
100%.
on singles.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a big. Thieves stole $300,000 worth of cards from.
Yeah, did you see that? They
Gen
took a
Con.
pallet. There was rumors floating around that it might have been like Lorcana, but they basically found
No
like
one
a pallet
knows.
jack. They found a pallet jack and like were wheeling it in, and then like they wheeled it out and moved it, and so it was crazy. Like I
That's
saw it, but
brutal.
yeah, again, just
Well,
all
Ocean's
rumors
11
on like
style?
what it was. I don't think they have confirmed.
Yeah, no one
anything.
knows what actually got stolen, but $300K worth of stuff is crazy.
Are you saying they like dressed up like they were
No,
meant
bro,
to
they
be
just
moving
walked in
and
and
stuff?
pulled out the
That's what I'm
pallet.
saying. Ocean's 11, like they just walked in. They're like, "This is our pallet jack. We're gonna take this pallet," and walked out.
It was wild.
The classic play.
Crazy. Anyway,
Speaking of crazy, Wembanyama. See, I almost said Zion. Wow. Little Freudian slip there.
Yep.
Wembanyama, 1/1 Bowman Chrome Super, was pulled by Bleacher Breaks over the weekend. Non-autoed Super got pulled. Some speculating 6-figure card already. I know Panini released the draft night Wembanyama 1/1 Black on their website yesterday, I believe. This would have been Monday. For those listening, we obviously recorded a day early. It got clicked at $10,000. It already sold. The hype for this guy already is just through the roof. But just worth noting, that happened. Obviously big card, and it's only going to get bigger as, more stuff comes out. So figured we'd put that on there. Another thing real quick. I don't know how much either one of you followed it, but Post Malone bought the One Ring card for $2.6 million.
Yep.
Seems like a notable hobby purchase.
so it wasn't 2.6. It was 2 flat, right?
I thought it was 2.6.
Post said it was 2. This is crazy. On the Call Her Daddy podcast.
Wow.
He said it was
Figure out.
reported as 2.4 or 2.6, but he actually paid 2. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he refuted it. Like
Yeah,
was like, "It's
said
wrong."
it's being reported as this, but it's 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was super cool to meet up. Met the dude, did the deal in person.
Yeah,
That's why
wild.
Post wins, and why certain people win. Because he could have just had a handler go meet the guy,
Well,
give him the money. But he cares. He actually wants the card. He actually
an
is a
organic
collector.
human.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very cool. It's always nice when like guys like that are like into it, like into the hobby, like actually care, want to be a part of the hobby, not just like
I'm sure you guys have heard about store. I don't know. I'm sure you have. Like he just will go to a city for a show and he'll just pull up at a comic shop and start going through their binders.
Yeah,
Like that's
or
what he
go
does.
to competitions and play. And
Yeah.
that's what I mean by Lorcana. The only way you get a sale like that is because there's actually people in basements 28 years later, grown adults and children that are just learning the game, grinding out Magic, playing with new product, seriously committed to the game. And Lorcana is going to need that. And things take time. And then just off the back of that, because every time I get the opportunity, I do like to give love. I know it was a big Jake Paul, Logan Paul weekend. I think Logan Paul is similar with Pokemon, but my word, that dude can professionally wrestle.
Logan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have no comment about the boxing match because whatever, but
Uh,
Logan is made for the WWE and he's damn good at it.
those two understand attention better than anybody on earth.
WWE, Vince, for all he is and all he isn't, being like
Yep.
Pat McAfee, Logan Paul.
Yep, for sure.
He knows that kind of stuff. He did
Yep.
it in the 90s, done it in 2000. He knows that cold.
Yep. I will say, I don't know how it happened. Again, we obviously don't know this. We'll get into the Panini Fanatics thing here in just a second. This will be a perfect transition. But Pat McAfee has cards in select WWE. That is cool. Logan Paul being in there at some point will also be cool. Those things add value,
Wonder
add
if he'd give that
demand,
up.
add chase. We'll see, but Pat McAfee being in there is I think is really cool. So
Is he doing autos in there?
I don't think he has autos. He has relic cards in Immaculate. He has like a little swatch piece in Immaculate, and he's got like a ringside or
Who
something.
is he kicking in this picture?
Yeah, he's got a parallel and select, one parallel. So
Love it. Pat McAfee
But-
got me fired up for college football again.
yeah, so he's having a
He's on the game day crew, right?
He's on the game day crew and his show switching to ESPN.
Yep. But he's gonna have a couple Buckeyes on Wednesday mornings. Little Bobby Carpenter, little
Oh,
AJ
really?
Hawk, 2 of the 3 legendary linebackers.
What
from
about
last
Rodgers
week.
every Tuesday?
Yeah.
I
It's
like
Aaron
that.
Rodgers Tuesday.
Shout out my boy Jack
DoorDash.
Settleman. Snapback Sports just announced a little pod with I think Marlon Humphrey.
Yep.
of the
Yep, I saw
Ravens.
that.
I like that.
Lou just went away, but do want to, Ty, have you done any research on or seen any chatter, any kind of comment, feedback, initial thoughts on Fanatics and Panini and the week that was? It certainly took social media by a storm. I think this is really the first time in a minute I can remember in the hobby where two of the biggest companies really going head to head, with a lot of it being public early on. Panini sued, that those documents are public. Fanatics countersues, those documents are public. Both lawyers made statements about the other company. We've talked about this before on Card Talk about, will Fanatics buy Panini? Will they merge? Will the deals happen early and we get Topps Chrome basketball? Like, Fanatics has said, oh, announcements are coming. We're like, oh, they're going to buy it and we're going to bring back Topps Chrome. We've had these things. And yet here we are X days later. And they are very much in a public dispute, public battle, a legal battle. Just curious if you had any initial thoughts, any takeaways, what you've seen or
Yeah, it's funny. So I've kind of one main just thought and perspective, and I'll preface it with like I know people at both companies, and we've we do business on the Vayner side with Fanatics and all that. But my mother is European, is Danish, and pretty much outside the U.S., like they're really, at least on smaller stuff, there isn't like you don't sue people. Like someone's walking down the sidewalk and slips on ice and like hurts their back. Like the U.S. is like, oh, we're gonna sue that person. Like most other places, there isn't that, and like the government just takes care of things or what have you. This culture around lawsuits. To me, the whole thing is just about court of public opinion and conversation. And that's why these things get out. I believe both, probably more Fanatics from a modern standpoint, has an incredible communications department and is not like just filing lawsuits for them to happen in court and not understanding exactly where the conversation is going to go in the court of public opinion. something we talk about a lot. And so when the Panini move to me was they wanted to be covered by Darren Ravel, talked about on this show, talked about in Forbes, talked about on, ESPN, etc., because it's headline reading. And they want a bunch of people to say, oh, look at big bag fanatics that's trying to be monopolistic and take over the little man with probably little ground to stand upon or even little belief that they're going to win in court. They just believe the cost it will benefit them because it'll help knock down Fanatics' view in the public opinion a little bit. And then the fireback from Fanatics, very pointedly, very we don't fuck around, very we are the Lakers, we are the Yankees, we're not some middle market team. Like, we're going to give you 120 pages about how your business is pretty much dying anyway, and the only reason you're taking a shot at us is to survive. So I just view it as court of public opinion versus like, let me look at the law and see how it plays out, because I believe whatever will occur will happen on the sidelines, in a closed room, in private. That'll be settled. And that probably would have happened anyway, but whoever's going to hold the last breath is now sped up a little bit because the conversation's happening publicly and it's coming in from all angles. What are you going to do? Blah, 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 blah. That's how I view all of that. And they are changing times, and Fanatics knows what they're getting into. Like, you don't just come into the game and start making moves. And anytime people are successful, I've been around Gary long enough. Like, people go into new spots and have success, there's going to be haters no matter what. People don't like change. People don't like uncomfortability. The next 18 months, what we're going to see from events, Fanatics events, and, shows that they may spin up, or it may be a great show. I don't know the people at Shipshawana. I just love saying Shipshawana. But who knows? Maybe Fanatics invests 20% and covers their operating costs and helps level it up a little bit. There's still going to be people that are going to be pissed because the old paper pamphlet flyer isn't available anymore, and now it's online. Like, it'll always happen, even when people are trying to do good. It's just table stakes of like going for it and taking risks. So I view the whole thing as really conversation for the court of public opinion. And we'll just keep going forth.
I like it. It's a great take. I haven't read a lot in it. I haven't done anything other than like headline read, so I don't know a lot about it, but it's obviously been a topic of conversation. But I like the take. Lou, any?
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff in there about how like they negotiated to end the licenses early, which we had heard and we're talking about on the show like last year at some point. Yeah, speculating on it. And then Panini was dragging their feet. It's messy. It's public opinion stuff, like Tyler's saying. And it's like, I don't know. It's just two companies that have a lot of money throwing money at lawyers and arguing about it. So I don't really know how to break all that stuff down, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Very interesting, though. Lou,
it'll be interesting to follow.
Lou, before we get into questions,
sure.
You want to break down, give us a little play-by-play thoughts, opinion on Tim Anderson and Jose Ramirez?
It was a wild clip. I still don't totally understand what they were fighting about. Did anyone know?
He came into second base hot.
Slid in hands first.
Bro, he slid in.
Hands
he came
first.
In hot, though. Wait, hands first?
He didn't come in that hot.
Hands first?
Hands first. He came in feet first, right at his ankles.
No, wrong.
No, he came in hands first.
Did he?
Yeah.
99% sure he slid in head first.
Yeah, slid a little late because it came up like between his legs.
Yeah, I thought he
didn't come up aggressive. No, it wasn't that crazy.
I thought he ran up on him a little bit.
No, I'm looking at it now. He slid in head first. I think the issue was that Tim Anderson stood over him for a minute, and that was the issue. And that was what brought on the
Ramirez. Ramirez, I think, said something.
Yeah. So anyway, that was kind of wild.
It was a square up. It was a true square up.
I haven't seen a square up like that in a professional sport in a minute. They both
there was some
Anderson like threw his hands up. Like,
they were like, "Let's go, kid."
Yeah.
And then the ump was like, "All right." I see what's going on here.
So that was funny. And then it was, I mean, guys are getting held back. Jose did throw a big punch, though. I don't know if he was aiming for his face. It might have been a little bit of a lucky.
Down here, I'm gonna just see if something lands and connected cold.
Yeah, and he popped him in the face. And there's that video of Tim Anderson of like walking back like wobbly, which also led to. It seems like it's like the collapse of the Chicago White Sox. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to that at all, but like they're bad to begin with this year, and this kind of I guess, exacerbated all the issues. There's a story that came out that Yasmani Grandal, who is their catcher, wanted to leave early before the All-Star break. And Tim Anderson was like, I'll pay for his plane ride. Like, fuck it. If he doesn't want to be here, he can leave. And Yasmani Grandal walked over and slapped him in the face was the story that came out. So, just a crazy, crazy story. I love those. I love when there's like real emotion in sports. That stuff's good. That's good for everybody involved. So I'm not mad about that.
Agreed. Yeah.
And baseball season, Yankees split with the Astros.
Did you see Aaron Boone get ejected?
Yeah, he's good at those. Did you see that clip, Ty?
No.
I'm gonna send you the clip. You're gonna like
It's
it.
pretty good.
I just miss Joe Torre.
Nah, he's one of the.
I even miss Girardi. And I miss just knowing Boone as the dude that hit it over the left pole.
Yeah.
One of the greatest sports nights of all time.
Was that Aaron F. and Boone?
That was the greatest.
Highest of highs, lowest of lows for Aaron Boone.
I mean, he is one of the all-time sporting moments.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the Red Sox. I hate Boston sports so much.
Were the Red Sox down 3-0 in that?
In the series?
Yeah, was that the Kurt Schilling Bloody Sox series?
Yeah, we won in 7, right? Late.
No,
That wasn't that serious.
I'm thinking of the one that the Red Sox came back and broke the curse. They beat you
Correct.
to go.
Yeah, that was in 7. And that was Johnny Damon grand slam in game 7 over the right field.
The Aaron Boone walk-off was against the Mariners, though, wasn't it?
I thought it was late innings against the Sox.
2003 ALCS Game 7. Yeah, wow. Holy shit.
Against the Sox, right?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I
That's
got some
crazy.
action. And then was it 04 that they beat us?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so it was like we were just staving them off. Like we were just for years, just Jeter was just leading the team through.
Definitely wasn't
thick and
Jeter.
It would be another topic for another day. Lou, you could probably give us more. Ty, you could definitely give more than I could. But like, I would love to have a conversation about like when baseball like died. Like, was it
The congressional hearings is the
That's what I was
line of
gonna say.
demarcation.
Yeah, the hearings where they threw all the players under the bus.
Yeah, that's the line of demarcation. Always
like
is.
that.
You
Yeah,
got Sammy Sosa up there and Mark McGuire trying to deny he's in steroids. It's like, who are we
yeah.
kidding?
When the league told them, please take steroids. Yeah, it's
A
terrible.
lot of books about that. There was a lot of push for Major League Baseball back in the day.
Giambi
just-
was the boy. By the
Because I
way.
was thinking about that. I'm like, you had what was that? The summer of '97 with that race.
Mhm.
You had that. Then you get into like the early 2000s, like the Yankees, Red Sox breaking the curse. Like you look at some of
Barry
those-
Bonds is a time period in baseball and sports that people don't talk about that is so
You know
outrageous.
what I
He
might
would,
say the moment is the Yankees knocking down their stadium and building a new one.
no, it was long over by then. 2007,
Yeah.
it was over by then.
Lou, what were you saying about Barry Bonds? Because I might agree with this.
That time period where he would come up to the bat and it wouldn't matter what the situation was. It was like time to walk him, and if you didn't walk him, he hit a ball into the river or whatever it is out there every time.
The river's so iconic with
The guys just going like this, trying to get there to the like, come on, man. The Bay. Sorry, the Bay. You're right, Jay. Like it was just a bomb or a walk every single time, and people hated him. It was amazing.
Tim Lincecum was a great pitcher.
Tim Lincecum
Yeah.
was awesome.
Tim Lincecum.
Yeah.
Was awesome.
Those, like I said, I've talked about it before with Ellie and the Reds being good now. Like those
I
early
watched them
Reds
last night.
teams, like they beat the Marlins, didn't they?
Yeah, I watched Yuri Perez pitch last night, who I haven't seen pitch before. He was amazing for 2 innings. If anyone gets a chance to watch Yuri Perez, you should do so. No one cares on this show, but you should watch it.
Good old baseball. Yeah, for me, the new Yankee Stadium, just even though they won this World Series there, I think the year it opened, it's pretty much just
It's weird how those things always happen for the Yankees. I wonder how those things go down.
All right, enough Yankees chatter. We do have a couple questions this week. Shout out to everybody that's submitted them. Let's get into a few of these. This is a great one. Cards Across USA 1. This is our guy Mike, longtime listener.
oh yeah.
When is the Card Talk crew coming back to Columbus?
Oh,
Do we feel comfortable on the date as of this moment? We talked about
No.
it before the show.
No,
we don't
no,
feel
we
comfortable
don't,
yet.
no.
Okay.
Rise got work to do before that.
Okay. So more to come.
Yeah, more to come. The next 2 months.
Can we go golfing when we go? Because I know I can actually.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
I will quit halfway, like a quarter way through.
we'll make that happen.
Yeah, 100% aligned for that.
All right.
Yeah, we're working on it now. We're working on trade nights and golf and content and hanging out, a lot of stuff. So stay tuned, Mike, for sure. But it's coming. Army ATC 22. With the National in the rear view, what's the next show with the same atmosphere?
There is no one.
I mean, I was actually looking. There isn't one with the same atmosphere.
Correct.
Then the next tier, Ryan, you start.
Dallas is the first answer for
Yeah.
sure. It will always be the first answer. There's 650 tables. That show is massive. It has a hotel there where there's trade nights in the lobby till 3 a.m. That is hands down not even comparable. There's nothing in the country like the Dallas Card Show. It is the closest thing to the National by a landslide. Then there are other shows outside of that. Culture Collision in Atlanta is a great one.
I like
I
that.
went to the first one. It was great, and I've only seen highlights from the last couple, and they've looked amazing. Burbank is building something really special out there in Anaheim. That will continue to grow. Rob, obviously, and
That seems
EJ,
like it has a chance to be like the West Coast show.
for sure. For sure, that's where that's headed.
Cool.
So that'll be great. The Shipshawana Card Show is in the middle of nowhere. I love that show. I love the people that run that show. So I will always advocate for that. Chris Costa in the Costa Cards does the Causeway show in Boston. That's a great location. They have connections through Causeway with Dana White, a lot of UFC. They had Taco Fall there in the past. So cool stuff there. The Chantilly, Philly, East Coast National, the Hofstra, like shows like that. That's the team that's running the next national. So Philly, Chantilly, Hofstra, those shows do really, really well. Chicago has the Sports Spectacular show in Chicago 3 times a year. That's a great show. I'm sure there's plenty I'm missing, but those are some of the ones, in years of traveling to some of the biggest card shows. Those are some of the ones that come to mind.
Dallas is September 7th to 10th, the weekend following Labor Day, and then again November 2nd to 5th. They do it 6 times a year, so pretty much month on, month off. January, March, May, July, September, November.
Yep. Great show. Great show.
Is.
East Coast Nationals in 10 days, but I can't be there.
Likewise.
All right, Card Collector 1116. Do you think Fanatics will try to expand into other sports or industries without cards right now?
Repeat that question.
So it's basically saying they're in an industry. Do you think Fanatics will try to make cards of things or hobbies that do not have cards already?
I think so. I mean, I think that's what they stood up with Zero Cool.
Yep,
We
agreed.
saw it with Stranger Things, I believe they tapped into. Lou just showed a Nickelodeon box that was old school. I think you'll start to see some of those things occur.
I think the big one that always comes to mind for me with Fanatics is going to be music and culture, with as tied in as Ruben is. I mean, the White Party, we talked about it, is one of the biggest parties of the year. Anybody and everybody was there. Michael Rubin obviously clearly has connections through a lot of those names. So I just see some sort of, Meek Mill chrome type card, a Drake gold Topps chrome refractor, a Drake super fractor.
The XXL freshman list becoming a Fanatic set every year is like the most obvious thing to me of all time.
Yep.
I like that shout.
Yep. That being
XXL should do it with Fanatics. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that's one I see happening at some point. But yeah, as Fanatics grows and expands their capabilities, they have the resources, they have the manpower, they have the technology, they have all of those things to make this kind of stuff happen. They're not looking to just get into baseball cards and basketball cards and football cards. They grow this entire pie by expanding into things like that and showing people who like Drake, oh, there's other cards. I can collect my favorite athletes as well. Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer in time. I'm not sure it's Fanatics' number one priority, but it definitely seems like something that happens 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the road.
Yeah, I definitely think they need to get their feet under them a little bit in terms of like getting the actual licenses and going through the motions of all of those releases and all like learning those lessons, but all that stuff is coming.
Man, some really good questions this week. Ty, this one I'm going to lob up to you and see what you think about this. Thoughts on buying a full Lorcana D23 PSA 10 set and putting it into a safe for 10
Easy.
years?
Easy.
I think that it is speculation. Like I think my answer to that question is I think there's safer things that are Disney related, that are card based, that at a similar price point currently of the market value of all 6 plus 1 to put into a safe. I think there might be other plays. The
You might have
Disney and
missed-
Mickey. Keep going.
Real quick, just as a note, I can help clarify for the audience. I think what you're kind of getting at there is you might have there it would have been, but you might have missed the boat on buying that set to hold.
Correct. Yeah, I think the price point is it's up, like it's not cheap right now. I mean, I bought mine with that intention as well.
What's the PSA 10 set worth right at this second in time? Like 15K?
I was gonna say 20.
Yeah, I think I would say the Elsa's doing in between 5 and 6. And
Full
then you're
set
talking
sold on
about
July
3.
12th for 16.1.
Yeah, 5 times 3, 15 to plus the 1. I think it's 20.
Okay.
I think it's 20. And there's a Walt Disney Mickey cigarette single OG that's actually Walt the human with like Mickey
Yep.
chilling, that I think there's a handful of 10s, but like in a 9, I think that thing is,
It's a really popular card.
yeah, popular in terms of demand or popular in terms of volume, or what do you mean?
It's
by
one
that?
of the, like, as somebody that I've talked about it before, my wife worked at Disney, bought her a cut auto, like Disney, for sure. I've kept an eye on some of the cards, and that is the one that seems to pop up the most in people that some of the people I follow that collect high end, right, and collect cool stuff, like have really nice stuff, seem to have that card more than more than like some of the other, because there's plenty of Disney cards out there, early OG Disney stuff. There's actually like a good variety of things. That seems to be one of the more popular ones that seems to appear in collections more often than not. That seems to be the one card I see the most frequently.
Will's Cigarettes. It's a 1931 WD and H&O Will's Cinema Stars. It's Walt Disney and Mickey, number 24. So if you take a look at that, Cinema Stars. And in a high grade, I think it does some decent numbers, and I would take a look at that personally.
All right. Next question. Cool Leagues cards, real quick, because we're running low on time. The number one card you regret selling most?
I think we've done this 20 different ways.
So what is it today?
Lewis Purple.
Oh, golly, that's a classic card.
Mine
Well,
is probably,
That's a great answer.
man.
Mahomes
Matt-
NT 9510.
didn't you buy it and sell it twice?
So I had 3 of them originally, 9510s. Bought them
Oh, you
for
had 3 of them. That's probably what it was.
I sold them for $3,000 a piece to pay for the wedding,
Yep.
and then bought another one intending to keep it forever.
That's what I'm thinking of.
2
I
years
remember
later.
it was a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, when I was in the shop, flew out to Philly to buy. It was like it's still it's not anymore, but it was the biggest card I'd ever purchased at the time, like prime COVID days, and
Mhm.
I bought it. I was like, I'm gonna keep this forever. I missed out on one. This dude's gonna be great. I was a big Mahomes believer early. I had some awesome Mahomes stuff. Sold it all to pay for the wedding. It was like I want to get out of it. QB market's volatile. Bought another one to keep forever. Sold it. Had a gun offer. I mean, an amazing offer. 13 days later, and sold it.
Really?
Yeah, it was a great offer. I mean, it was probably one of my biggest come ups ever on a card, and in such a short period of time. And I was like, I was an early shop, right? Like
Yeah.
that money did me a lot of good for my shop. Like when you make a few solid dollars on something, you can buy more supplies and more product and more singles and more merch and more everything to put out and grow the store. And it was like,
Of course.
I'm playing the long-term game here. I'm playing for 50 years. I could grow, and if I make enough money, I'll buy that card 50 years down the road. But it makes more sense to sell now and, buy it later.
Mine's Mbappe Kaboom.
Yeah.
Just really wish I still
That's a
had
tie.
it.
That's a tie. That's as much of a tie card as there ever is.
Like, yeah. I will get one back in my possession. That's for sure. But I missed that card.
I remember at that same national tie, you guys were talking about Mbappe, and I was like, okay. So I bought a Father's Day rookie at a 25, 9, 5, 10 for 150 or 9, 5 for $150, and I still have it. I'm like, well, if they say this guy's good, I'll buy it and keep it. And I kept it. It's not a kaboom, but I feel great owning that card.
Yeah.
All right, one more quick one. We already did this. I like this card. You can answer now. We can do another segment on it in the future as the NFL season gets closer. But it's like, who do you think will break out this NFL season? I'm not looking for financial advice.
We should save it. We should save that for like 2 weeks from now because we could probably talk. I could talk about that for half an hour.
Agreed. All right. So we'll HK, we'll come back to that question. We'll do it a little bit closer to the start of the season.
Shout out HK, always in the mix.
Lou, one more for our guy Donald. He's a longtime listener. This is for you. Rapid fire.
Me.
Buy, sell, hold. Altuve, Derek Jeter, Joey Votto.
Buy Altuve, all-time legend. Sell Jeter, sell the hype to all the Yankee dopes, and then trade was the last one.
Hold.
I'll hold Votto. He should get more respect long term. He's having a bad end to his career, but he should get more respect.
Hall of Famer.
100%.
Love it.
Votto should be more respect, but sell the hype on Derek Jeter. I love it.
You're telling me that I shouldn't sell the like who has the most value of all three of those guys?
Derek Jeter.
Right. So you sell the hype to the Yankee dopes who are trying to relive the glory days.
Neither of the two of them even sniff the man's jock.
That's what I said. I just said that.
Yeah, but for long term, to be holding the man that has value.
No, you're buying Joey Votto low before he gets in the Hall of Fame in 10 years.
I'm buying Jose Altuve
I'm buying
his
Jeter
reputation
low
was tarnished by your
Arena Club
shithead
becomes the
fans,
biggest brand in the hobby.
loser fans.
Shout out to Donald Shaper for the question. Thank you
Shout
for
out
that.
Donald Schaefer.
Shout out, Donald.
All right,
That
real
was a good
quick.
answer.
Latest launch. It's a big week. National Treasures football comes out.
Let's get it.
2022 football just in time for the 2023 season, but better late than never, right?
What are
you've got
Jets breaks doing?
probably expensive, with three of the top
Five
six
top
guys.
guys.
No, Brees Hall's not there. No way.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I would
Six.
agree with that.
So we got that big release out of the way. Garrett Wilson's the number one receiver. Sauce Gardner's probably the number one defensive players up there with Hutchinson. So yeah, big release week there with obviously NT. You're gonna see some big cards pulled. It'll be heavy breaks this week. Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary Baseball 2022. So this is Wander, J-Rod, Torque, those guys later. That's typically how they've done it. They did it last year too. It's a little bit of a later release, but
What
that'll
product
be
is this?
Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary. Fun product.
Okay.
Topps does a good job with that one. National Basketball League basketball comes out this week. Finest Bundesliga comes out this week. Marvel Masterpieces comes out this week. Another fun one. Shout out to our friends at Leaf. Leaf Pop Century comes out this week. That is a fun release.
Always is.
And a new
is.
Pokemon dropped this week as well. You have Obsidian Flames, which is a Scarlet and Violet release. You have Topps Star Wars this week. And that is it. So solid release week this week for sure. Yes, Jay, Lil Baby and Uzi are in, or Courtney, sorry, are in Pop Century. There's some big names as well.
There's some massive names in this.
Yeah, I talked with Brian Gray at the National about it briefly. He mentioned one of the big ones is
They got Santa Claus in here.
what's the Lou? Who does Gran Torino? Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's in it. He's one of their really big names in it.
Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. Yeah,
Peter Nyong'o.
some big names.
Wow. Moneybag Yo, Meek, Offset. The hell?
Yeah, some big names. 4 cards per box.
Kodak. Oh my god.
So it's about, I think it's about a $250 a box. 4 hits per box.
What do you mean who
Autos.
signs for Santa, Jay? What do you mean by that?
I'm afraid you have made the naughty list.
Who does his autos?
Yeah, who's the autograph?
Santa.
Yeah, I agree. It's a weird question, Jay.
Yeah, Jay.
Yeah.
Why'd you even bring it up?
Pardon my
Stupid
French.
thing to ask.
On lighter news, this upcoming weekend is the 2023 Pokemon Championships in Yokohama, Japan. I think it's a big one because it is in Japan. It's a traveling championship. But that'll be pretty neat.
Yeah, Jay, this is real quick, Jay, this is Santa's off time. Like,
Yeah, we really shouldn't. I think based on what Courtney's saying, I'm actually worried about causing some trauma.
It's literally the end of the summer, and you're trying to like.
I mean, he definitely had plenty of free time this summer to sign those autographs.
It's not Mrs. Claus, I'll tell you that much. It's not pulling like the Luca out here.
Not the Luka.
Whoa.
The Sasa autograph?
He's got Rudolph just in the shop, just like grinding out his autos.
Wow, that would be wild. All right, big episode. We got to talk about Santa Claus. We got to talk about Fanatics, Panini, Wembanyama 101s, Jose Ramirez, Tim Anderson fights, football, and how we're all just craving it. What a great episode.
U.S. Open tennis is going to be electric in Queens.
Do you want to go, Ty?
Yeah,
I would go.
most definitely. Most
We should
definitely.
go.
We should
That'd
go
be
and have a
so
great
much
night. Aligned.
All right, we're going to make that happen.
All right, shout out to everybody that listened once again. That's all we got for now, guys.
Proper show.
Peace and love.
Peace.